Hey, welcome to the Joy of Padel. We are Andy and Minter, and we have been playing at the Anglo-American Cup, the inaugural event. We've had a lot of fun playing lots of paddle, but here we're going to have a little bit of a fun focus on this lady's great work with paddle, mostly in the United States. In your own words, Andy, who are you?
Well, thank you for having me. Lovely chatting. It's been lovely meeting you in person and lovely chatting to you. My name's Andi Neugarten, and I'm the founder of Six Love Sports. We are the largest women's paddle community in the USA, and we are going international. My whole mission is to elevate and empower women's paddle. So get more women on the court, get more women into paddle, and whoever is playing, I want them to elevate the games. So whatever we can do to support them in resources and more play, and just get them.
Well, I love the fact that you use the word elevate, because my personal mission in life is to elevate the debate.
I love that word.
It is a good word. I was in South Carolina, in Charleston, and I was doing on a run, and I was thinking about what was going on, and I ran over a sign, but it was face down. So I went back to the sign, turned it over, and it was elevator. I was like, that's a sign. So let's elevate together. How did you get into paddle, Andy? Because, you know, in the United States, it's not quite as common yet.
It was kind of by mistake. So I'm an athlete. I've been an athlete my whole life. I played tennis from the age of 4. Thank you. I'm a triathlete. I'm an Ironman triathlete. And I was kind of bored with my bike riding and running. I've run over 100 marathons. And I'd heard about this thing in Miami called paddle, and people were playing everywhere. You can drive by courts all over. And it was like, I couldn't figure out how to get onto the court. I can't show up and just
say,
play.
I want to play.
And I'm not a beginner. I knew I was not a beginner. So I needed to find a place to have a lesson. I couldn't. I mean, it took a while. And then I went on vacation to Barcelona, and we went Costa Brava, and I went to this most magnificent resort in Costa Brava, and they had some paddle courts. So I asked for a coach. I got onto the court and I played a little, and I realized I wasn't that good. But he kind of taught me some of the basics, and I came straight back to Miami, and I managed to get somebody on the phone at Ultra to say, I'm not a beginner, put me into a clinic just to get rated. And I did, and they quickly changed my rating, and I was able to stop playing. So, and the rest is history. I mean, I play 3 times a day, sometimes 4.
Wow.
Don't tell my husband.
Yeah, I mean, but usually you get lots of Instagram accounts showing how the man is sneaking out, but you are the one woman sneaking out.
He's just happy I'm not shopping. So.
But
I'm spending way more money on paddle.
Right. So one of the things that's interesting about paddle is that in many of the beginning markets, even the UK, let's take other markets like that are sort of nascent, Denmark and so on. Oftentimes it's the men that sort of get in there, get interested in it. Whereas when you look in the United States, Spain, it's mixed. Portugal, it's mixed, 50-50, yeah, sometimes even more. How did you get into, and why did you get into having women be empowering women in paddle?
It was selfish, because I wanted more women to play with for myself. When I started playing, I realized I had some skills, I wanted to improve my game, I needed to play with some really nice level players. They weren't easy to find. So I started this little community, and I was doing some weekly play and setting up these matches. It's not always easy to set up matches. Everybody has a schedule. So I was trying to do some regular play where we could all just get together and play. And then I realized, well, if I'm having the same problem, there are other girls who may be at a different level who are having a similar problem. So my focus has just been on women, because
if you don't take care of them, who is?
Exactly, and I feel like, you know, the male market is also so big. It's a whole different mission and, you know, strategic positioning. Whereas women, I understand. I know what they're thinking, why they want to play, what they're trying to achieve, and I can help.
Well, I'd like to dig in on that, because I mean, I've been playing paddle for a long time, and I studied women's studies at university, so it is a topic that interests me. How is paddle different for women than it is for men?
I don't know if it's so different. Well, I think it's way more social. So one of the things about paddle is women love to connect with other women. And I feel like with paddle, it's given us this kind of space to do so because you're on a smaller court. You're actually talking to each other. You have to communicate.
Amen.
And you're becoming friends. And then you have to make the effort to connect with other women to make other matches. So I think, I don't know if it's so different for women, but women spend a lot of time developing friendships and relationships. And paddle has, for me personally, it's been part of my new friend network, my new friend ecosystem.
I mean, if you look at it like another sport, like let's say you're training for a marathon, you're running together for 10 kilometers. You might talk, but I feel it's a little bit difficult to have a proper conversation. I get totally out of breath. I'm focused on my steps and blah, 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 blah. Plus the rhythms may be different. I want to run it 6.6 minute kilometers and you want to do 5 minute kilometers. Well, it's hard to stick together. And after having interviewed many ladies and men on my podcast, it does feel like a pattern that the women talk much more about the quality of the relationship.
They're having fun as well. They're on the court and they're laughing and they're talking and they're having fun. So it's not, at certain levels it gets very competitive and you're very focused, but most of the time it's just this very nice conversation and chatter and, our next match. And then, of course, the social side afterwards where you have a glass of wine or you're having a drink or something.
And of course you may be talking about men.
Yeah, exactly.
To what extent do you think there's a paddle culture, and to what extent might that paddle culture be different in the United States versus its origins, let's say, from Mexico, Argentina, and Spain?
I think I've done a lot of traveling around Spain and I've visited many different courts and clubs. Not so much in Mexico, but I
just
think...
because it began there.
Yeah, but I think I look at Spain as the ultimate, where we want to get to. And I think when I look at the clubs in Miami right now, they all started as just clubs. You go there and play paddle. And then they kind of had an add-on. There's a gym or there's a little restaurant place or a coffee shop. Whereas you go to Spain and it's you can spend a whole day there. You go to the spa, you go and play paddle, there's a great restaurant, you don't need to go anywhere else. And I think that the new clubs in Miami certainly are changing and across the USA, and we're going to see much more focus on the entire picture. So, there's a bar and you want to hang out there at night. So
more the community feeling.
Yes. So it's a
I
feeling
talked to a paddle club owner, and he talked about how he'd rather have people just even come to watch a football match at the paddle club rather than just think about it as a place to go play paddle.
It's a destination place.
Yeah, and so in terms of the culture of paddle, do you feel there's a US specific culture? Because of course in the United States we even pronounce the word differently.
Paddle. Or
Padel.
No.
That's how they say it.
No.
Some
it's
people.
paddle.
I'm
yes,
with you. Hey.
Yeah, it's paddle.
Of course.
No, when they say Padel, I'm like, no, it's paddle.
Correct them. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's okay. I'm fine because I want every country to own it. And if they need to adapt to make it, I mean, the United States is growing fast. It's getting there. I don't know how many clubs or courts there are in the United States now.
It changes so quickly, and there's so many coming on board. Now, interesting, culture is different in every city. So I live in Miami.
Right.
Okay, the culture there is very Argentinian, South American,
Por
very
favor.
different flavor. And then you go to different clubs, and it's different in every single club. Paddle X might not have such a big Argentinian feel as Open Paddle.
Right.
Reserve might be a little bit more American focused, but has many of the very top players. So I think the culture's changing. I feel that the culture's changing. You hear a lot of Spanish being spoken.
Por favor.
But America is America. So then you go to Charlotte or Charleston, and there's going to be this more of an American feel club, but then they bring in an Argentinian coach maybe. That kind of changes the culture a little bit. So I think that social element is going to be the future of paddle in every club across the country.
Right. So let's talk about your business that you've put together, Andi. Where you're focusing on women and a community at the moment. Tell us how you've gone about creating the entrepreneurial journey that you've gone through.
So when something kind of comes at you and it just you see this opportunity, and not even opportunity, just this like something that hits you like head on, right? And it's like, I have to do this. And every single thing I've started to do, it's kind of like a door. I'm thinking like, what do I do next? And then this door opens. And what do I do next? And this door opens. So this is what this journey has been like. I've never had an experience like this in my life. So it kind of came up as an idea of like, I know there's something bigger here. I want to create this community of women that are connected on and off the court. I feel that women supporting other women is the most powerful thing because strong women lift other women up. And I also realized through this community that it's not only about what we do on the paddle court. What do you do off the court? I want to know about you, I want to know about your business, I want to know about your children, your family. And let's connect on a much deeper level. And then how can I help your business? So I started off creating the community. And now the next phase is to figure out, well, what do you do and how can I support you? And how can we all work together to lift each other up? So Six Love Sports is more about the whole networking aspect.
Right.
And there's lots to come in terms of, yes, we do tournaments, leagues, round robins, events, activations, we support brands, but it's more about the power of the global network that I want to be introducing in the next couple of years.
All right, so tell us about the business model side of it. Obviously, you have to somehow make money out of this activity without it being transactional, because it's not just about making money.
No,
it's a much
passion.
bigger topic.
I know.
But how do you look at, what is the business model, and where do you see that developing?
So the business model started from me just doing tournaments, events, charging an entry fee, and making sure that I was covering costs. And I'm not in this to make money. I wanted to cover all the costs. I've spent a lot of money on marketing and social media, and of course,
and traveling to
and travel, and being at events like this is a big part of it, because the networking opportunities are huge. But it's not about the money. What I want to do is create this community. The business idea started to create this community that gives back and lifts all women up in terms of supporting pro players who maybe can't travel to all the tournaments. Right. Some of our top players
at the
in
beginning,
the US,
it's
absolutely, until they really get sponsored, even with their sponsorships. Sometimes they cannot afford to travel to all the tournaments.
Because most of the good tournaments, of course, aren't in the United States.
Exactly.
The big tournaments are afuera.
So how do we put together this academy or this, how do we get more kids on the courts? How do I get more young girls? So there's a kind of philanthropic part of what I'm doing that is working towards next year. That's what I'm hoping to do more of, is the kids on the court and supporting more of our top pros. But underlying that are the tournaments that I run, weekly round robins, and I put my heart and soul into everything that we do. So when people sign up for my tournaments, you walk away with this elevated experience. There's a beautiful goodie bag. We highlight all our sponsors. It's not just show up and play your tournament, pay your $50. There are great prizes. We do a lot with some amazing sponsors, and each tournament is different. So there's tournaments, round robins. I try and do weekly stuff at different levels. So I'm all about level-based play. So don't mix advanced players with beginners. Let's do a beginner section, and then we'll have a high intermediate group. But the most successful part of what I started was the Ladies League, and I launched that in January of this year. We're now in season 3. We're just finishing season 3. So
like my podcast, season 3.
Each league runs for 7 weeks. We have 4 teams. We started the first season with 120 ladies signed up. We've capped it at 140. We're at about 160 for this season. We just cannot accommodate anymore.
Right, otherwise
it was
not
so
everyone gets to play enough.
successful. Season 3 has been so successful that I had to start a whole new group for a high beginner section, and I have 65 ladies signed up in that. So the league in its total is over 220 ladies right now. But they pay a fee to be part of the league. They play 7 weeks of matches. Week 7 is a big final event. And so what I wanted to do was have proof of concept. Let me show that there is this community, there's a model, there's a business model. My next phase is to get big sponsors. There's a big community, there's a huge opportunity.
I have a friend, Miriam Notkin, who created a community called Savvy Aunties. These were savvy aunties.
Okay.
And so these are ladies who never had children, but are aunts of children. And I enjoyed chatting with her about that creation of the community. What makes paddle the sport that you think is best for creating a community of women?
I don't know if it's necessarily the best, but for now, paddle is the hardest, fastest growing sport in the world. And it's where my passion lies.
Right.
So there might be somebody else who is passionate about this auntie community that, if your passion is in that, and that's what you put your heart and soul into. So I think with the numbers around paddle and the way that it's growing in the world, and even just looking at the US market, I mean, the rest of the world is so established.
Well, so the reason why I say that is I have let's say a priori idea that one of the strengths and the important parts of paddle is communication.
Right.
Because you have to talk, you have to have a relationship if you want to actually be good together as a couple, you know, as a pair. And I tend to believe that women are better communicators than men, and thus paddle is a perfect sport for this. That's what I get. And when I interview my women players, the pro players like
that's what they say.
Alejandra Salazar or Amy Gibson most recently, they constantly talk about the need to communicate. And I mean, men will talk about it, but it's not quite as important to men. This idea of communication, looking at each other in eyes, understanding each other, creating this bond, this trust. I mean, trust is an important thing for everybody, but somehow amongst women, it feels even stronger. And paddle is a tremendous conduit, a facilitator of, if you don't communicate, you're screwed.
You know, it's interesting when you say that, because as an endurance athlete, everything has always been me in my head.
Yeah.
Right? As you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So for me, communication is so damn hard.
Yeah.
Like I have to make a huge effort.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy having someone on the court who is a better communicator than me and yells at me.
Right.
You know, and I have to like, okay.
Yeah. My concept that I've been developing in my mind is that it takes being generous, the communication on a paddle court. Why? Not it's yours, mine. It's actually more that at some moment you're playing the ball. I'm not going to look at you to see if you're going to fuck it up or play what shot you're going to play. I need to
trust and turn and face the other way.
Focus on what they're doing, and graciously tell you what they're doing. I think they're doing this, that, and the other.
Yes.
And that's the communication. And that spirit of I'm there for you.
Trust.
Is what I think makes the paddle thing more just delicious.
I love that idea. I think you're spot on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
it's looking the other way when the ball's coming, and just know and she might fuck it up.
Of course.
And that's okay.
Well, it is.
Because
you have to get over it.
You know, I might mess up the next shot.
Exactly.
So,
and having that grace. And the reason why I'm particularly keyed up on paddle these days is that I feel in society we are missing grace. We need to elevate the whole of society to say we can all learn from each other, that we can all learn to trust one another, which is not the biggest suit, I would say, that we're playing in today's world.
Great concept, yeah. Maybe paddle will be that, right?
I think that, and I think that, as you say, that when women get involved, I mean, in let's say old-fashioned world, because I'm not supposed to say this, but behind every great man is a great woman. But the fact is that we are different, and women's play is different than men's play. Where you watch how the pro women.
Oh, it's so much more
different.
What do you
graceful. Like? Who do you like to watch play?
Delphi and Gemma.
Delphi
all
and
day
Gemma.
Long.
Unbelievable.
And
right?
I love watching Araceli and Noah. Not Noah. I've forgotten her partner's name. Sorry, forgive me.
That's okay.
French.
Oh yeah, Araceli and
Tall,
gosh.
beautiful,
Yeah.
blonde.
Alix Colombon.
Alex, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Love
I've
watching
watched him
her
play. I've had Alix on my podcast. It's
her.
her first name and my mum's the first name,
Oh.
Alix. So that, and plus I've got the
Love
French thing
watching
going on. All right, so you've got this plan to build this community, and you've got these clubs you're working with. How about the international plan?
So I am South African. I was born in South Africa. I'm American now, but I have strong roots in South Africa. So we
South
are,
African paddle is booming.
It's booming.
It is.
I just appointed a South African ambassador.
Nice.
So she's going to launch Six Love Sports in South Africa. There are a couple other international countries that I am in
Working
advanced
on.
negotiations
How does one become
with.
an ambassador? What does it mean to be an ambassador?
So what I did was I realized that for me to grow Six Love Sports, I needed to recreate more me in different parts of the country.
Mini me's.
Yes. So I went on and I asked people, I wanted somebody social who loved paddle, was completely addicted, wanted this to be part of their lives, and I found some amazing people in the US and internationally. And what they do is they come on board, I support them 100%. It's like a mini franchise model where I basically set them up to run their own show, but it's all
Give them
branded
ideas
under Six Love
what sort of-
Sports. And we work together on everything. So help them with sponsorship and branding and social media. But yeah, it's been people have referred other women to me, and I do want women because I think that's the most important. I need a woman in
if
each
someone's
community.
listening and you're a woman and you would like to be thinking about developing a community of women paddle players in your country,
Exactly.
get in touch
Please
with
reach
Andi
out.
Neugarten. And then finally, let's just talk about the Anglo-American Cup. You are wearing a blue shirt, I'm wearing a red shirt.
I love it.
Shocking.
I look better in red, actually.
We can switch. You know, like when after
At
you
the
play,
end, we
you take
might
off
have
shirts.
to.
And,
We might have to,
There you
yes.
go. But what's it been like for you to be part of the Anglo-American Cup? What do you think of this type of a tournament?
I love this. I'm so excited to be here. Number one, I love representing the USA. It's always been, it's a dream, right?
Yeah.
I started
Wear
playing
the flag,
paddle.
wear the flag.
Yeah, it's a big deal for me as a South African with a new home. But I mean, to be at my age, and I am sort of older years, but to be representing my country in something that I'm so passionate about, and to be able to play at this level and to improve my game every day, it's really a dream. I love London, again with my strong South African roots. Being in London, and I love speaking to you because I speak properly.
Yeah.
And I can say these English words that people actually understand what I say. In America, my husband doesn't understand what I say half the time.
I'm sure he understands plenty.
Yeah, he understands enough. But
however, the funny thing is there's a bunch of South Africans here too. I've seen, we all have sort of somewhat hybrid personalities. They're immigrants. At some level, immigration means that we have hybrid identities, but there are a bunch of South Africans here, and I have a tremendous friend who's just starting a club up in Cape Town, and Josh, a great South African friend, so I've learned about the South African community. So go for that. And when are we going to play?
Tomorrow.
Let's do it.
Okay.
And it's been a pleasure having you
Thank
on. Tell us, where can people find out more about your community, get in touch with you? What are the go-to call to action?
So on Instagram at 6 Love Sports, it's number 6 Love Sports with an S on the end. I answer every message, so if you want to ask me anything, just send a message on Instagram, or you can email me, Andi, A-N-D-I, at number 6lovesports.com.
Beautiful. Andi?
Thank you.
Un placer.
Amazing. Thank you.
Now, tune in for next one.